Hey guys, this is my guide to a modernized 1.12 healing setup. I'm going to cover some things that also apply to DPS casters, but this is mostly about getting a setup with the 1.12 version of the game that you use on private servers like WoW to not be fucking dog shit for healing, because I find that healing is the role that is most painfully impacted by this being like the 1.12 version of the game, and there's a lot of like involved stuff that goes into making it better. So with like the retail version of the game, okay, you probably make a Mouseover healing macro that looks something like this. You've got /cast, and it will do a priority system. So if you are mousing over the character, it will heal them, right? As simple as that. If you're targeting the character, but you're not mousing over anything, it will heal that target. If you're targeting an enemy, and the target is friendly, so in this case it's this person being attacked, and you're not mousing over anyone, and you're targeting someone who's hostile, it will heal the target, right? And if none of those apply, you're not targeting anybody, and you're not mousing over anybody, it will simply target yourself, right? So this is like the common sense healing macro that everybody uses in the modern version of the game, but this shit doesn't work. This shit doesn't do anything. So, just going to straight up delete this. This is garbage. It doesn't do anything. Alright? And in order to... I'll show you how you can set that up in WoW, or in the 1.12 version of the game, because it uses a completely different macro API, guys. It uses a completely different macro API. This show tooltip command doesn't even work on this version of the game without another add-on called roid macros. Alright, so we're going to cover how to enable basically this small command here, pfcast, to do everything I just talked about there, right? And it allows for like a more seamless healing experience. So first of all, guys, the game is the client is so fundamentally fucked that we're using something called SuperWoW. It's basically a .dll file we actually inject into the program. Now, if you know anything about security, you're probably saying, that's insane. You expect me to download a random DLL file to inject rogue code into an executable. Are you out of your mind? And to that I say, well, look, do you want to play the private server or not? But no, in all seriousness, it's open source. You can read all the code for yourself. It's not. There's nothing malicious going on, but your Windows will freak the fuck out. So there's a full tutorial here. I'm not going to cover the tutorial in much detail because, you know, I'm just going to do the video tutorial for the stuff that's relevant for healing, the little custom alterations I've made, little things I've made to really maximize healing performance. So basically, just follow this guide word for word, and you'll get it all done. Basically, you'll get it all done. And you'll have the option between PFUI and Super API cast lib here. I recommend PFUI. PFUI is just like the more comprehensive, more thorough, all-round like UI overhaul. So I do recommend PFUI, and the macros I'll be showing you are indeed part of PFUI, but there is an alternative for not PFUI if for whatever reason you don't want to use that. So once this SuperWoW shit is all done with, I'll show you like my TurtleWoW folder. So you're going to see that you're going to have your new vanilla fixes.exe that you run the game from to make things work now. And you're going to have your brand new dlls.txt folder. Remember the name of this folder, dlls.txt. That's going to come in handy later. So you should have these three right here in your dll.txt folder. They'll allow all the DLLs to like load up as you launch vanilla fixes. Okay? So that's all taken care of. Now, one of these DLLs is NAM power. Why is NAM power so fucking important? NAM power is a fundamental problem with every single casting spec in the game. So for every single casting spec in the game, if you try to queue up spell casts and you do not have NAM power, what's going to happen is your lag, so in my case I have about 250 ms of lag, your lag will actually, I'm not a fucking server architect, guys. I don't understand like the full like details of what's happening, but basically your lag is preventing you from starting your next cast and queuing it up correctly. And that's why we had to make a fundamental like change to the client to use SuperWoW to overcome this problem. You know, this was fixed in like the client that's beyond 1.12, beyond the vanilla version of the game. This is not a thing in classic WoW. This is not a thing on a 3.3.5 client, you know, doing Wrath of the Lich King. This is only a thing with the 1.12 client, and you know, there was some various add-ons used to kind of get around it. There was the original version of NAM power. There was something called Lagcast back in the day, and now there's this nampower.dll, which allows it to fix on a more fundamental and like deep level in combination with SuperWoW. So this is really important. You're losing 250, like in my case, I'll be losing 250 ms on every cast. That is just going to be a fundamental nerf to my DPS or my HPS if I play any sort of caster, right? That's just terrible. So NAM power, absolutely essential. And while you're here, so you're going to have to commit to one of two things. You can either use this Mouseover, you can either take the Mouseover.lua file here for use with PFUI, but if you didn't get PFUI, you have to get the Mouseover.lua file from here. Okay, so basically you take this file, you download it, it's going to be in, you know, in my case it's interface, add-ons, PFUI, modules, and it's here, Mouseover.lua. Replace the file that's in there, and then once you replace the file that's in there, you're going to edit with Notepad++. And what you're going to do here is that you're going to add the functionality to do target of target healing. So by default, it works like this. When you do the /pfcast command in a macro in the game, it will do, you know, the target. It will do the Mouseover first, and if you don't have an appropriate Mouseover, it will do the target. And if you don't have an appropriate target, it will do an auto self-cast. So I'll do the player. So what I've done is I've put in this line here, 15 and 16. Okay, you only have to do this coding shit once, and then you never have to do it again. All right, you just have to put in else if unit exists, target of target, and both the player and the target of target are friendly to each other. So, you know, your tank, let's say you're targeting a raid boss. Your tank is the target of target, okay? You and the tank are friendly to each other. That's what this is saying. Unit is friend, player, and target of target. Then the unit I target for the healing spell is my target of target. So this is a thing I've added in, you know, custom. You can ignore all the rest of this. This is a thing I've added in custom for the benefit of healing, strictly for healing, okay? And once you're done with that, you're just going to do File, Save, and then once you're done with that, right-click Mouseover.lua, go to Properties, and set this bitch to read-only. That way, if you update PFUI or whatever fucking add-on, it's not going to overwrite this Mouseover.lua again. You don't need to touch this again. The original Mouseover.lua written by Shagu for PFUI, basically it has a lot of workarounds in there to get around the fact that 1.12 client Mouseover macros are fucking jank. They're jank, but they're not jank anymore with SuperWoW. So with SuperWoW, we've basically heavily simplified the code. There's entire pieces of code that are missing if you check Shagu's original version. And we're just adding this in here to really facilitate target healing while healing, because target healing is immensely useful, guys. It's so easy to seamlessly transition from, okay, I'm mousing over my raid frames, I'm healing the raid, okay, and I'm I'm healing the target of this guy. I'm just swapping back and forth like it ain't no thing. And I can show you from this mage's perspective. So it's pretty easy. You just aggro this mob, whatever. And yeah, my mouse is over here in no man's land. I press my heal. I'm healing him. No issues. Healing myself. No issues. Right, mouse over him. Heal him. No issues. I'm just pressing the same button, guys. I don't have to do different buttons. I don't have to do key alt shift modifiers or whatever the fuck. It's all very seamless, very easy. You know, if you've got to keep a tank up, but you've also want to like get some spot heals on the rest of the raid, this is like fucking essential. It's so easy. It makes life so much better. So that's like the way to set up mouse overs and stuff like that. So if you use SuperWoW, you'll have like a different LUA file. Basically, you're gonna have to find something else that looks similar to this and add this custom code in there. And you're just going to have to do /stcast instead of /pfcast. As you can see here, I've got /pfcast. All /pfcast is saying is basically call all of this. Call this stuff. When I say /pfcast, I'm calling all of this, basically. This little Mouseover LUA file that we've made here. That's all that pfcast means. So, yeah, it's a bit... Sorry if it's a bit complicated with like the technical jargon and like custom editing of like the files, guys, but like trust me, you only have to do this once. Set that shit to read only, you're done. Okay? And this is like the best healing setup you can get. Now, there's some other cool shit you can do with healing as well. And it's basically unit scanning. So you can scan how far away units are from you. With this new add-on. It's fucking great, but it's also a little bit complex to install, so I'm going to go over it right now. So I've got this mage. He's hiding behind the tree. He's out of line of sight. So as you can see on my raid frames here, and these raid frames are Healersmate, and to my knowledge, this is the only raid frames that support this shit. So you're going to download Healersmate. Healersmate is really amazing. It allows you to see debuffs. It allows you to see buffs on raid frames, which is really important. It allows you to see range. It allows you to see line of sight in combination with this next DLL I'm about to talk about. So as you can see here on my raid frames, he's grayed out. He's out of healing range. He's 49 yards away. I know that just by looking at my frames. And I've got this eye on the raid frames. That's telling me that he's out of line of sight. So even if I was in range, I can't cast on him because he's out of line of sight. And then when I turn around the corner and he's in line of sight, it's restored. I can heal him no problem, right? So this is a really handy tool to have for some fights, especially like Firemore. Okay, guys. So yeah, I highly recommend downloading Healersmate, and you've got this Unit XP SP3. Now when it comes to installing Unit SP XP3, it's another .dll thing. So you're gonna have to run sideload DLL. Yeah, it's in the actual TurtleWoW directory. You're gonna have to run sideload DLL.exe, and it's gonna like run all this shit, and it's going to say, when you copy and paste the stuff, it's going to say, do you want to delete DLLs.txt? And you say, no, do not replace DLLs.txt. Okay? Don't replace DLLs.txt. All you got to do to DLLs.txt is edit it and just add, hey, sideload DLL.dll, unit XP, SP. So this is all custom by me. I just added this in to the existing DLL folder that was done during the SuperWoW installation and the Nampower installation, and so I can load it all at once. And by using this shit, you can enable the range and line of sight checker on your unit frames. Okay, so that's really sick. So yeah, Healersmate. It's a fantastic little add-on. Unfortunately, it's still in like development. You can't adjust the size of the raid frames as much as you would like right now, and there are a few features missing. But it's still the only like unit frame add-on that supports this functionality, this uniquely powerful functionality. So one last thing you might want to see, guys, when it comes to healing, and this is also very big brain, and some people don't realize it, is just, let's say that there's a specific debuff on a raid encounter or something that's really you know, boiling your piss. So I'm gonna give myself a debuff right now using this goblin brainwashing device. I'm going to activate my LE spec, sure. I've got Scrambled Brain here. It's just a 10-minute debuff. Now, as you can see, it's not on my unit frames. Now, the default settings for Healersmate are pretty good. It's already going to show you like some key raid buffs you should be putting on the raid. It's going to show you some important stuff like someone being mortal striked. So it's already got some pretty good support for buffs and debuffs to actually show on the unit frames, and unless it's actually specified, it won't show on the unit frames. So it's not going to get spammed with irrelevant buffs during actual combat, right? But if there's an ability you do want to see, then it's as simple as going to the settings.lua file in the Healersmate. So go to Interface, Add-ons, Healersmate, and then you go to the settings.lua. And in the settings.lua, you can see all these debuffs and buffs. And I just go to tracked debuffs for all classes. And I've actually added in several abilities here. So I've got Frost Blast from KT. I've got Righteous Fire from Mograine. I've got Call of Nightmare, that's from Solnius, that's TurtleWoW custom content. I've got Ice Bolt from Saffron, that's the ice block. That's to let me know, don't heal this guy, he's fucking immune, he can't be healed. Essence of the Red, that's just a debuff from the guys in BWL, some of the trash packs. It fucking hurts, really hurts tanks. So let's just say I've got some annoying debuff, it's pissing me off, I want to add it in here. All I have to do is go, so in this case, I'm going to go Scrambled Brain. And I'm going to go File. I'm going to go Save. I've saved that. And now we're just going to reload. Don't need to close the client completely. I just have to hit /reload. And look at that, guys. There's the debuff. I can see it on my unit frames. Now I know when that debuff hits that key target, and I can play accordingly around it. So I don't usually have Scrambled Brain visible. I'm just doing this to demonstrate that you can track debuffs and shit. So this is everything you need to like really comprehensively. You've basically comprehensively got all the features you would want of a modern like retail WoW. You know, you've got Mouseover healing, you've got target-to-target healing, you've got lag casting, you know, Q casting, you've got a range tracker, you've got an LOS tracker. I don't even know if that's even a thing in like retail WoW. There's probably a weak aura for it. I don't know. But you've got such comprehensive filtering and powerful tools, and I really think that you need these sorts of tools to really take healing gameplay to the next level. And it kind of takes a little bit of technical know-how to know how to meld this all together, but once it's done, man, it makes a world of difference. So yeah, don't settle for really suboptimal and silly like add-on-based solutions. Okay, this is like the most powerful tools we have available. There's also like decursive, but I feel like everybody knows about decursive. And that's you know, you just press one button and it continuously decurses people. You can set up a priority list. You know, that's old news. It's been around for a long time. But yeah, it is what it is. So yeah, that's my video. Thanks a lot, guys. I'm just so glad that we have such like powerful add-on support for healing these days, and I think it's a shame that some people aren't aware of it because there's a bit of a know-how barrier in the way. But as long as you get familiar with adding a few things to some .lua files, you can make some pretty magical things happen. All right, see ya.